You are for the free speech. Some of them claim to be in favor of free speech. Okay, we are in favor of free algorithm. Totally transparent. Because, I mean, free speech is a pure bullshit if nobody knows how you are guided through this so-called free speech, especially when it's to be guided from one hated speech to another hated speech. I just want to have a transparent road through these different speeches, and I want, by the way, to have a sort of public order. I want to avoid racist speech, hated speech, and so on. When we speak about data, when we speak about energy, I think both India and France do consider that we can do it in a different way. The hyperscalers are organizing this approach. This is why when we speak about large language model, with Mistral AI, we adopted a much more frugal approach. What Yann Lequin is building, by the way, in France, and we are very proud of that, leaving Meta, is clearly another approach to modelize OAI, which is much more frugal. And India was one of the rare countries to choose small language models as well, based on this frugality and to be much more targeted. And I think we're right, because otherwise you can see that this race is already unsustainable by itself. Having these hyperscalers buying and building or booking for huge data centers everywhere in the world, most of them don't have any access to energy. Most of them, even in the US, don't have energy, and none of them have the clean energy. I mean, it's not sustainable even on the midterm. So I really believe that our common approach makes much more sense, but we have to really bridge the gap at the same way. But the alliance and the partnership between both of us makes a lot of sense. My last point is about the fact that we really believe, both India and France, in an AI at the service of our humanity. Meaning we are ready to put regulations. And I want just to mention three examples of that. The first one was largely developed, is about childhood. It's clear that in the system today, something is rotten, and look at the situation of our children, our teenagers. When you speak about social media, if you add to this social media some chat box with agentic capacities, I mean, this is the beginning of a terrible situation. And we already have all the symptoms of the situation. So we have to protect our childhood, and we are aligned on that. Second, we are in favor of transparency. And one of the key achievements of this summit is to have to ask requests from, perhaps at the end of the day, force these hyperscalers to provide the full transparency on their algorithm. And I think it's extremely important. It's important for our researchers, but it's very important for all of us as citizens. Because all the algorithms have biases. We know that. There is no doubt. And they are so impactful when you speak about social media that having just no clue about how the algorithm is made, how it is tested, how it is trained, and where it will guide you, I mean, the democratic consequences of this bias could be huge. We don't ask for regulation by itself. We don't want the IP. But we say, I mean, just should make it transparent. You are for the free speech. Some of them claim to be in favor of free speech. Okay, we are in favor of free algorithm. Totally transparent. Because, I mean, free speech is a pure bullshit if nobody knows how you are guided through this so-called free speech, especially when it's to be guided from one hated speech to another hated speech. I just want to have a transparent road through these different speeches, and I want, by the way, to have a sort of public order. I want to avoid racist speech, hated speech, and so on. This is my point. And the third one is the respect of language diversity. And it's extremely important. And I think this is something we have in common between India and France. You have at least 22 official languages, but hundreds of languages. And we are very much attached to Francophonie. And the big risk is to have just a global AI with LLMs and apps being 100% trained on English models, and on a portfolio largely dominated by the Anglo-Saxons and all the Chinese. Diversity, protection of diversity, and especially diversity of our languages, is a guarantee to avoid a lot of biases and to improve the quality of our models. And especially, you described very fairly the impact that AI could have on education. If you want a proper mentoring, I don't think that AI will replace teachers and researchers, but I think we will have to learn how to teach with AI, to have a different approach in order to improve the quality of the lessons and to have a better, probably personalized education. But it will be impactful and meaningful if precisely the model you use is trained on the right portfolio of content and trained on the right language. So I think it's very important as well if we want an ethical AI and if we want a safe AI to clearly protect the diversity of languages.